Welcome to Tarot to a T. Today we're going to do a March 2023 reading for the sign of Taurus. And if this is the first time to my channel, welcome Taurus. Glad to see you here. And if you're coming back, thank you so much for coming back. You're amazing. I truly, deeply appreciate the support. Especially if you're a subscriber. And or you have given a kind donation to my virtual tip jar, which can be found in the bottom of the description box. There's a link there to buy me a coffee. So thank you very much if you are one of those. Okay, so we're going to open up a general inquiry. What message does Taurus need to hear? Okay, insistence there. For March 2023, and I will try to get out of the way of the cards coming out here and focus on what I feel is right. Not that many though, I can't do that. Not capable. But nope, that's way too many. Ah, jeez, you got something brewing here, Taurus. Just want to remind you this is a general reading, so if it doesn't fit your situation, that's okay. Please come back and check again, as I can't do a general reading that applies to everyone across the board. That just isn't the way it works, right? And don't try to make it fit your situation if it doesn't. Always a good practice to have it now to mention there. Three of Diamonds. So there's some confusion around money matters. You could be pulled in a couple of different directions as far as making a financial decision. You could be stuck between two people and the wants and needs of two different people, for example. I'm kind of picking that up. Nonetheless, there's just a little bit of confusion around it, or indecision, and that's surprising for your sign, because I always brag about Taurus being so practical and logical when it comes to material goods and finances and that kind of thing. You might be dealing with a okay, so I was just going to blurt out Leo, but it's a fire sign energy. But you could be dealing with a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries in particular, with a Queen of Clubs. And the Queen is not necessarily female. It's just some kind of person around you that has some power and authority. Maybe in their own world, not necessarily over you. But they're very supportive and generous. I am picking up this is a person around you. This isn't you. You certainly could have Leo in your chart. And I know a lot of relationships of different sorts happen between Tauruses and Leos. I just happen to know that because I'm a Leo myself, and I've had a lot of interesting relationships with Tauruses, in different contexts. Okay. Anyway, 10 of Diamonds. Now you could have come upon some great prosperity here. Maybe that's the confusion, or the indecision, I should say. Not confusion, that doesn't sound right. It's more about indecision and how to perhaps invest. But this card is about success and prosperity, and it's kind of like you set some kind of goal for yourself and you reach that. So you've closed a chapter with that. Well, you've just reached the potential of what you were seeking to begin with. It's actually a very good card, but I see great financial abundance here for sure being emphasized. 7 of Hearts, interesting. This is some kind of disappointment, some kind of loss. It could have very well involved a person. Maybe, that's like the broken heart. Like somebody hurt you, not necessarily intentionally, but like somebody, let's say it's a relationship that started off really well and then it plummeted. And it just didn't work out. And I could tell you that's actually a pattern with Leo. we have like a strong magnetic pull. I'm just speaking from my own experience here, Leos and Tauruses, but more often than not, we end up butting heads. So that could be the source of that pain. It's like you want it to work out, but there's just too much tension and friction there. Maybe that's where this indecision comes in. Like how you feel about this prosperity and success. Because it's tainted with this pain and disappointment. Queen of Clubs. I think that's that central character. Again, please don't look at the gender. Queens just express their power and authority in a more subtle way than, let's say, a king. A king is more controlling and dominant, and perhaps sits higher on the pile of the echelon, the hierarchy, but yeah, we don't look at genders when we do these readings, okay? Ace of Hearts, you're embarking on some kind of new start, and you're focused on following your heart's desire, not necessarily relationship, although it could involve that because there's an emotional component to it. I just generally see the Ace of Hearts more as you're not compromising anymore. You're truly going after what you want, even if on the outside it may not seem practical to other people, or maybe it's surprising to other people. I'm hearing that. It's like, you going into accounting, that makes sense. But you wanting to become a artiste or a musician doesn't make as much sense with Taurus, especially if they've never expressed that creativity before. I'm just giving an example again. The colorized Joker, things are up in the air for you. I think it's all about that new start and figuring out what you truly want. You know, it's not settled. But there's also the element of the Magician energy with this card. Magician energy, my interpretation and my perception of what that means for us is, I see it as the hand of the universe coming in and working its magic. Quite literally. So like events evolve, influences suddenly come into the picture, elements change, characters change even, that kind of orchestrate the flow of events and how things turn. And more often than not, they turn in your favor. That's a general statement, not necessarily you, Taurus, but for our favor. It's not necessarily a thing that's going to block you in any way. It's not going to be an obstacle. It's going to be the opposite. And it's unforeseen because it's also got that unsettled energy around it about things being up in the air. So it's probably something that comes to a surprise, more or less, because it's magic, man. It's magic. It's not something that we can predict, that we count on. When it happens, it's fabulous. It's wonderful. Yeah, you came out of here out of a very deep loss here in the past. That's wrapped up as well with this 10 energy. That's a chapter that's closed for you. You know, your last few readings, and I kind of see this as a different story, honestly, but the last few readings we're talking about a job situation that you were, or a career income opportunity that you were pursuing. It was really difficult. I'm not seeing necessarily that is coming out in this reading, so I think I'm speaking to a group of Tauruses who had some kind of loss. And this is monumental. This is like the end of a marriage, a long-term relationship, perhaps a career that ended badly, maybe the loss of a loved one, a family member, because there's an element of grieving and having to go through a process of healing with it. And it's long-term, but I see that that's behind you. And so you're coming out of that. Perhaps that's what's fueling this determination to follow your heart. I don't know. Whatever that was in the past, maybe it had you stuck in trying to please others or doing what you felt society expected of you. And now you're not doing that anymore. And I think that, I just want to say, I think that pain might have to do with that 10 of Spades now that it's come out. It might not necessarily be another person that disappointed you in the present. It could kind of carry over from whatever dark period you're coming out of. Yes, and there's some kind of separation involved, whether be it through death or a physical separation, like you cohabitated with somebody and you've both moved out. Or it could be simply if you're an older adult and you have a grown child that's left home, gone to college. There's a certain process, a grieving process I know that comes along with that. The Five of Hearts talks about a general physical separation, so there's no particular direction for me to take that. It's just how it applies in your situation. And that's probably bringing on some of that broken heart, that pain. Although, I'll be honest, that Seven of Hearts is usually about a person who lets you down. And it's short-lived. It's not particularly a deep wounding. It's more of I think, I'm not saying you're going to get over it quickly, but, that doesn't go on and on and on, and it's not long-lasting, life-changing. For example, the Ten of Spades is quite different. That is more impactful. Okay. The Eight of Clubs, you are trying to make a decision here. I see that very much in tune with your Three of Spades and Three of Spades. Good grief. Three of Diamonds. And your indecision around some kind of financial matter. This could be tied up with that. This is also the card of being kind of stuck on an idea or having a fixed opinion, and maybe that's leading to the indecision because it's kind of the card of being stubborn and stuck on an idea, honestly. And so if you're digging in your heels, it's causing this moment where you have to go one way or another, and at the moment you're not going anywhere. You're being stubborn, in other words. Could also be that it's about this. Again, this new start and trying to figure out what you truly want. The energy behind making a decision. You could just be a little bit on the fence about it at the moment. And definitely kind of stuck on your ideas and stuck in your ways. I believe Taurus is a fixed sign, and that kind of goes along with the territory. Leos are too. So I understand about that. It's like you have an idea or a concept or a vision of how things should turn out or how they should be. And we kind of get wrapped up in that. What else can you tell me about Taurus' situation for March 2023? Six of Diamonds. You got a lot of options and opportunities coming your way to take financial responsibility. Not that you need it, because I always brag about your sign being so good with money, like I said earlier, but it could be as a result of this prosperity and success, now you have more ability that's increased for you, but it looks like you're going to have even more options coming your way. Financial responsibility is just what it sounds like. It's paying off debts, making sure things are taken care of, making repairs, upgrading, things that you've let go because you couldn't concentrate on them or you didn't have the funds available to do what needed to happen to make those repairs, for example. I'm going to go ahead and look at cards of advice, see if we can get some more out here about this decision, perhaps about the pain here. The Three of Spades, you're stressed out and worried. Probably due to this indecision with the Three of Diamonds and the Eight of Clubs and trying to make a decision. It's kind of stressing you out, I guess, because you kind of want it to be done and over with. I'm kind of picking that up. You want it to be done and over with, and you're stuck. Just for the moment, though. It's not going to be permanent. Nothing lasts forever. King of Clubs, Five of Spades. So I do think you split up with a fire sign. The Five of Spades talks about changes occurring that involve a breakup. Doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship, but I have a feeling in this case it was a relationship. Again, that King of Clubs is the fire sign energy, Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. That's probably what's still stressing you out. That's probably what this this thing that you had to go through, this loss, this traumatic loss, this grieving. The King of Spades is a nice, generous, supportive person. They have a good head on their shoulders. They're very practical. They give good advice. But unfortunately, things didn't work out with them for you. And that's probably where a lot of this pain is coming from. It's something that you wanted to work out, very possibly. Yeah, look at that. This is a permanent split. It's not going to reverse itself. It's not repairable. It's the opposite of connection and harmony, if truth be told. The Two of Spades does denote a split between two people, probably in your case romantic, but it could also mean friendship that's over. Seven of Spades, Four Hearts. What a combination. So the Seven of Spades is about truth coming out, hidden information coming to light. And I'll be honest, it's not always positive. It's perhaps something you didn't want to... you wanted to know that it existed. It's just that when it came to light, you're like, I didn't want it to be that way. You know, it's information you didn't want to hear in that regard. But it's good that it came to light. Now, the Four Hearts talks about support and connection around the home and lifestyle. More to do with the home life and how emotionally supported you are there. Perhaps there was something that came out as a result of this breakup. There was a truth revealed that, how should I say this, that broke up the home situation. You see what I mean? So at one point, probably for a while, you felt very supported and connected, and you thought everything was nice and cozy and solid in your home life, probably with another person or some kind of, I don't know, living situation. Maybe it was just a friend, like a longtime roommate. But some truth came out, and it kind of brought things to light for you. Now, if that is not a direct result of this breakup with this King of Clubs, perhaps there's something after the fact, tricky words here, perhaps there's something after the fact, after the breakup, after the separation, because you did have the separation card over here, and don't forget that Ten of Spades. This was traumatic. This was hard to go through. It's something you realized about yourself, that perhaps you need this support around you. Perhaps you need to, I don't want to say you need somebody, but you need that support and connection and feeling taken care of and loved. Not taken care of like physically, you know what I mean. Emotionally, you have some kind of support system. Yeah. I think something has come to light for you. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel like something has come to light for you now that you are on your own or going it solo for the moment, about that support and an emotional connection that I feel like you've lost. And I will say about those past readings, and if you're interested in checking those out, you do have a playlist on my channel, Taurus. It will pop up at the end of the video, up in the right-hand corner. You can click on that and access it that way. But I will talk about, just for a second here, that income situation that you were pursuing had to do with not being home a lot, and it was disrupting your home life. I feel like this could be connected to that. It broke down the relationship that you had, perhaps because you were being taken away from home and things just kind of, imploded. It's an interesting That's an interesting twist for me because, like I said, I'm remembering a lot about those readings. For some reason, they've been sticking on my mind. I don't remember every sign. I do way too many videos a month to be able to retain all of it. But you also have the black and white Joker here that, again, like with the colorized Joker, things are up in the air, things are unsettled. It's just kind of letting you know that you also don't know what's ahead, because this is also the Fool card energy. The Fool, some tarot readers think about the Fool as being a new start. You could look at it that way, and you don't know what the future holds for you. It's kind of daunting to think of it like, oh, I don't know what's ahead of me, but it's just a reminder. I think it's like a reality check that we don't have a crystal ball. And no matter how much we try to control circumstances, we cannot predict exactly how things are going to fall into place. That's, for me, that's just the general interpretation of Fool energy. 9 of Diamonds, again, a completion here that involves some kind of financial boost. It's called the stimulus check card. It's like giving you new resources, new vitality, again, to take financial responsibility, certainly. Do renovations, you know, again, taking care of those things that have needed to be taken care of, catch up on perhaps if you have outstanding balances. But there's some kind of completion there. And so I think whatever this split up was, may be reflected with this 10 of Diamonds. This may not be about career. Although if you are on that career path that's been going on since the end of 2022, that could be the success and prosperity. But you also have a completion here, which could be as a result of a, let's say, a marriage that's broke up and you divided up assets. You know, that kind of scenario. 8 of Spades. Yeah, you're still being overworked. You're still working too much, too many hours. Or there's too much being asked of you, and you're just going along with the program. But it's asking you to relieve that stress. Remember, we are looking at your cards of advice, so it's asking you to relieve that stress here. It's affecting you mentally, emotionally, and physically, or possibly all 3 ways. Sometimes the 8 of Spades can indicate a problem with a specific person in the work situation. Take it how it resonates with you. So whatever that situation is, it needs to be relieved somehow. Again, you have a change coming here with a settlement and negotiation around finances. Like, for example, not necessarily in this case, a legal settlement. A negotiation with a person that owed you money. Nonetheless, there's going to be more changes in your financial situation. We've already kind of seen that here. And again, I feel like this indecision, there's a lot of emotional charge around it, because I think it comes on the heels of something very devastating to you in some way. 10 of Spades. I do think it's into the relationship. Just want to go back here and just remind you, there was the separation card. There was the breakup card. And there is a permanent not just separation, but a permanent rift between you and somebody else. A relationship that's not going to come back. And I do think there's fire energy involved. Like I said, I originally blurted out Leo, and this Queen came out here. Very, very possible involved a Leo. This still kind of intrigues me. The hidden information around the connection and support in the home. If you haven't already come to a realization, something hidden within you, it looks to me like you're going to come to that place where you're going to recognize, I don't know, maybe the loss of the support that you had there is more significant than you ever dreamed it was. Not that you didn't appreciate it at the time. Could be something of that nature, or there's just going to be something else about it. I think it's self-realization, because those 7s are usually about some kind of internal experience, not something coming from the outside. It's a realization that's coming clear to you emotionally. It's like one of those aha moments. But I do want to remind you, you're being asked to relieve some kind of stress around income, work, finance, business, whatever your situation is, Taurus. But you've got a lot of success here, despite kind of the heaviness with this, and being worried and stressed out. You know, with this card and this Eight of Spades, it's acknowledging the stress there, but it is telling you need to make changes in that area. Okay? So the cards are telling you, they're kind of saying, they're nudging you in that direction. So whatever changes you need to make, whether it's not everybody agrees with therapy, but if you need to talk to a therapist, or maybe there's another kind of support system you have in your life, or maybe it's, you know, spending time on your own, meditating, you know, getting away, maybe that would help. But it revolves around work, whatever function that has in your life. Okay, only you would know that. I'm going to end the reading there. I hope this was helpful and insightful, and if you would like to see when that next reading comes out, don't forget to hit subscribe, notifications. If you are able to make a donation to help support the channel, that link is again at the bottom of the description box. And thank you in advance if you're able to do that, okay? Thank you for being here. Hang in there, and I will see you again soon.